All right. Looks like we are live. What is up, OVF fam? Welcome to our Thursday night live stream training. I am your host, one of your hosts, Chris Celeste, with my partner in crime, as always, Liam Weisner. And I just want to make sure that everyone can see me and hear me real quick before I dive into the housekeeping, and then, of course, the core topic for our training here tonight, which is going to be all about posts and attracting your customers using the written or even sometimes spoken word. Because what we do, this formula that we use that I'm going to be teaching you here tonight, I have also used in video scripts, in VSLs, and other forms of video sales. So it works in all things. Webinars, even webinar sales. If you guys are familiar with any more of the internet marketing side of things, this formula here tonight is going to apply to all of that. So as you're coming in, let me know you can hear me and see me okay. We got Patrick. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Looks like we can be. Let me know if you can hear me. I know you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me okay. And I'm guessing we're streaming live into the group since you are engaging with us.
You're a little blurry right now.
Interesting. I must have a slowing connection because I've got my HD camera hooked up. So, all right. So hopefully that'll clear up here in just a second. But let me talk about a little bit of housekeeping like we always have to. And I actually want to go over something here tonight. Because we've done a little bit of changes in the group. And if you have not noticed them, I want you to know how to access certain things and where they're located for you. So awesome, Patrick. Appreciate you letting us know that you can hear us and see us okay. And this is my first bit of housekeeping. So it's always perfect that there's always someone that doesn't know yet to do this so that we can really talk about it and have a perfect example. So in the post that you're hooked up to right now, that's currently live streaming to you, in the description above it, there's a blue link that has a StreamYard. It's a StreamYard link. StreamYard is the streaming software that Liam and I use for OVF to bring these trainings to you. And what it does when you click on that link is going to ask you permission for us to see who you are, for StreamYard to use your Facebook picture and name as your likeness. Now, you only have to go there once to give it permission once, and every future live stream we do, I'll be able to know exactly who you are. And then Liam and I can interact with you more directly and actually answer your questions. And honestly, like I've said in the past, we created a veteran group so we can interact with our fellow veterans. And when it just says Facebook user, quite frankly, it could be just be anybody. So we want to definitely know who we're talking to. So go there real quick. Make sure you do that. Awesome, Nick. Great to have you in here, brother. I'm glad that the time change has allowed for you to be a part of these live. For those of you guys who were brand new and this is your very first live stream, everything up to last week used to be 5 p.m. We ran a poll into the group. We had some amazing engagement. We had actually 4 people win prizes, which those should be arriving at your door any day now. Let me know once you receive them. And it was kind of just group anonymous. Highest votes went to keeping it on Thursday night, but allowing it to be moved back to a little bit later time, so that to allow more people to be on, which is actually perfect for me. And I just realized that we have daylight savings time this weekend, which means that I'm going to go from, because being here in Arizona, I don't change times. I just change time zones. So it'll actually be an hour later for me, even more. So all good. I'll always make it work to deliver the value. So that was the little first bit of housekeeping I always want to go over with you guys. We got David in. Perfect, brother. Good to see you. Make sure that you give StreamYard permission so we know who you are, just like David, Nick, and Patrick have done. The second bit of housekeeping. Sorry, guys. I'm a little bit under the weather today, so if I start losing my train of thought more than usual, you know why. Liam also. I messaged him this morning. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm not doing too good. And he was like, yeah, me either. I'm like, uh-oh. We got to do something to get this going. So anyway, the second little bit I wanted to share with you guys is all the replays that are being recorded and streamed into the group. Every week, what we're doing for you is based upon the topic and how it's going to help you in your life and business. We are inserting it into the unit section, either under business training or mindset training, both of which are, in my opinion, mindset's more valuable than skill set because that's really the thing that differentiates success from non-success, but they're both back there for you. And so just as an example, tonight's skill set training, when we're done, will be available as a replay in the business training section of our group. And as a matter of fact, what I'd like to do for you guys is just share my screen real quick and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So there's no confusion. Everybody knows exactly where to go and look for this. And just let me know when you can see my screen. It's going to look like we're going into Inception here for a second. Give me a thumbs up, Liam, when you can see it.
I can see it.
Perfect. So when you're here inside of our amazing Operation Veteran Freedom group here, in our unit section, like I was talking about, this is where we store all of the previously recorded information and value for you. And so right here, past welcome, obviously, definitely, if you have not already, go to the welcome message. Let us know who you are, follow the steps there, introduce yourself so we can welcome you formally into the group. But as you move down into the units, you'll realize that we have tons of business training. First and foremost, guys, whenever we do anything, we need to have clarity. And the idea of being an entrepreneur, the idea of financial freedom is on everyone's mind. We all love the idea of it. But does it really align with you? Is it really something that you are willing to pursue? There's no right or wrong answer here, right? Like, I don't hate on anybody because they want to work a 9-to-5. If that's what they choose to do, that's fine. However, Liam and I, and what we do here is for those people who are not happy with a 9-to-5, who really want true freedom for themselves as a digital entrepreneur. And so this video right here is very short, very powerful, and just lets you know, hey, listen, is this really for you? And then after that, you have pre-recorded trainings that we've done in the past, and you can go through. We've got mindset trainings. We've got all the stuff that we need about CBD, information that we use to better our health every day. Another video on benefits, all sorts of third-party documentation for you, letting you know that, hey, listen, don't just take our word for it. This actually really works. Tons of people back it up. And then, even testimonials from your own fellow members and myself where I did an interview. And then one thing that everyone has been talking about, and I wanted to just let you know, if you have not received your free gift, guys, it's right here in Unit 9. All you got to do is click on these, and it will download these books for you and let you start utilizing your free gift right away. So let me stop sharing my screen and go back. And just wanted to let you guys know that, Liam and I, we want to make sure that everything's easy to find. We want to make sure that you guys understand, like, this is, exactly where you need to go to get the recordings, to gain the value, to implement some of the things that we're training you on in order to improve your life and business right away. And so that's exactly where you're going to want to go. If you ever want to watch a replay or access any of the other information in there. Otherwise, you're always welcome to message Liam or I, or definitely stay tuned. Set your reminders to be here every Thursday at 6 p.m. because we're dropping live value every week. And so those are the two bits of housekeeping I had today. Before we really dive into our skill set training, Nick says we lost some audio. We can see you, Zachary. You're good to go.
I'm not sure if it's just him because I didn't lose any audio with you.
Awesome. We got some like Spaceballs and Through the Portal. It's pretty funny. It's like so crazy how it just does that, but it always does it every time I share my screen on StreamYard. So tonight's topic, guys, tonight's training topic is one that got a lot of engagement, got a lot of excitement, honestly, in both email replies and in comments in the group. So for those of you guys who are not receiving emails that will let you know that this training's coming up, there should be one that comes out in the morning and one that comes out 15 minutes before, just reminding you this is going on. That's on top of the value drops that are already going into your email from me. And if you're receiving those emails and you're reading those emails, you're actually going to have an edge up on a lot of people watching this training tonight. Because if you're reading them every day, this formula, this template that I'm about to break down for you, you've already got exposed to it numerous times. Guys, I'm telling you, I use this in almost everything I do when it's front-facing to the public. And it's a very, very proven formula to work, tried and time tested. But before I bring this formula to you, before I share with you exactly how this works and how to structure it, and even give you some tips and tricks on how I've implemented it to be very successful and effective in these last 3 years now that I've been full-time online, I want to make sure that you understand something. And what I want to make sure you understand is, and I kind of hinted to it a little bit earlier. I could give you this formula. I could give you the skill sets. Hell, I could give you free access to everything I know. But at the end of the day, if you don't have clarity on what you want to do, on who you want to talk to, and on the impact you're looking to make, the results you're looking for, none of this is going to matter. Because you're going to be writing generic posts to nobody at all and everybody at the same time. And that's exactly who you're going to get. Nobody at all. And you're not going to attract the right people even if you do. And so I just really want to make sure that if you guys don't have that clarity, you can go back into where I just showed you in the unit section and go into the business breakthrough live training that Liam and I did for OVF. And it'll allow you to begin to gain that clarity for yourself so that when you go out there and write these posts and really start to attract the right customers and build your business, you'll be effectively doing it and you won't be backtracking or wasting any of your time, because I know too many people who go out there and they, whether I say it to them or not, that for whatever reason they don't listen, and they go out there and they just write these generic posts. I see you laughing, Liam. They write these generic posts and they put them out there and they wonder why they're only getting people who are curious. They're wondering why they're getting people who are not even engaging on the post for the reason the post is written. Like they're getting these people that are coming out of left field that are engaging with the post for whatever their own personal reason may be that has nothing to do with the result you're looking for. And it's just a pain, and it burns us out, it tires us out, and it's really not that fun. So again, and Nick's even saying it, business breakthrough is phenomenal. Guys, go back, watch that training. It's already in the units for you. It's really going to help. All that being said, I want to share for you the exact framework that I use. Again, in my emails, in my front-facing ads. So for those of you guys who understand a little bit of marketing, it's called top of funnel ads, which is what is your first exposure. It's another way to say that, which might make a little bit more sense to you guys. I use it in that. I use it in my everyday value posts. I use it in webinars. I use it in sales presentations. I use it in everything I do because, again, it is proven to work. And when Liam and I sat down to talk about this training and talk about the skills, it was funny because he had mentioned that even without copywriting training, he has already been introduced to this and has learned it based on something else that he'll talk about here in just a little bit. But what I want to break down for you guys, if you're ready, I want to make sure you guys got your pen and paper ready and you guys are ready to receive this value. So let me know in the comments right now if you guys are ready for me to drop this formula on you. You got your pen and your paper, you're excited. Put a 1 right now in the comments for me, and I'll take a sip of my iced coffee, which is keeping me from falling over, and we'll go from there. I don't know about you guys, but I really, really dig some CBD coffee. I'm not a big fan of regular coffee at all, but a little Italian sweet creamer, some agave, little squirt of agave, and the CBD coffee, it's right on point. All right. Patrick's saying, let's rock. We got a 1. We got 1s. We're flying. All right. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Another one. Another 1. Okay. 1 up. All right. Appreciate you guys' engagement. It always makes these trainings that much better when you guys are, involved and engaging with us. So here is the exact formula, and then I will break it down piece by piece for you and really help you understand how it implemented and how it works. So the formula is bold headline, attention grabber. That's the first piece. The second piece, relevant story. And I'll touch back on that relevant piece. You'll notice how I emphasize that. I'll touch back on that in a minute. That was on purpose. The lesson learned or epiphany received. That's number 3. And then the fourth and final thing that we close it all out with is our call to action. So let me break down for you what that all means. Now, if you look at an attention-grabbing headline, I'm not telling you guys to make bold, unrealistic statements. I'm not telling you to lie or fabricate or do any of those things. That's literally the exact definition of scamming someone, is to mislead, misdirect, or fraudulently, represent yourself. So we don't want you doing that ever, just to be very, very clear. However, when you go through the business breakthrough training and you get very clear on who you're talking to, you're also going to get very clear on some of the pains, goals, and desires of that person, of that core audience and group. And what you can do is you can take those pains and you can take those desires and you can speak directly to them in a headline that says something like, how to lose 10 pounds without having to change your diet or starve yourself. Now, very simple, bold, brings in the attention, and obviously I'd be talking to somebody in the weight loss niche. I'd be talking to somebody if I had either I was a personal trainer or I had some sort of dietary supplement. That would be the bold thing. That would be the bold attention-grabbing headline. Or it could be how I can show you in 12 weeks how to start, grow, and scale an automated online business so that you're never alone on your journey and you reach profit quicker than you ever thought possible. Right? Like bold, attention-grabbing, speaking to the pains and the pleasure of what they want. It's a very simple, that itself is a very simple formula too. And what I have done in a lot of my trainings is I give away, my course that I do, I give away an entire template of 16 proven headline formulas. And what you guys could even do, and I recommend you do, if that's not, just go on to Google, type in high converting headlines, proven to convert headlines, or what I've done since I become a marketer, and this is a behind the scenes hack. So definitely write this down. When something stops my scroll, when something grabs my attention on YouTube, on Facebook, anywhere that I normally spend time, I save it. I put it into a swipe file, right? Because the same exact things that are drawing my attention, that are stopping me from moving forward and just wasting more of my time in my scroll, are the same exact things that are going to attract people just like you, your tribe. And so leverage these things. So that's the very first thing you can do. And if you guys go back and you look at the ad that brought you into the community, if you go back and look at some of the posts on my page, if you go back and look at some of the posts inside the OVF group, you'll notice that we speak very directly to you and what we can do for you, the pains and the pleasures. So, you have many, many examples to go off of as far as that. And again, the templates for this are literally just plug and play, put in the pains, put in the pleasures, and really allow yourself to get that attention. But once you have that attention, it's very easy to lose it, okay? We have a 5-second microwave mentality. And if you don't know how to hold someone's attention, it doesn't matter what you said in the beginning. They are going to tune right out, click right off, exit off the page, whatever it may be. And so how do we keep them engaged? How do we make sure that they participate and read all the way through? We share a story. But now I want to be really clear, guys. We're not sharing our life story, right? We're not telling them, when I was 5 years old, my dad told me that I would never amount to nothing. And now at 25, I had to battle that. we're not going to drum up our entire life, right? What we're going to do is we're going to share a piece of ourselves authentically and truthfully that it's relevant to the result we're looking for. So again, if we, for the example I used earlier, losing 10 pounds without changing your diet or having to starve yourself, right? Let's go back to that for a second. What's up, Liam? Oh, I think we lost Liam. Anyway, let me know, guys, if you can still see me. I want to make sure that you're not losing me too.
We were frozen for a little bit on my end. I don't know if we lost in the group or not.
All right. You guys can still hear me and see me okay. Let me know right now in the comments. That way I will proceed. Green. Okay, yeah, they can still see me. We're good. As long as you're not missing out. I just want to make sure I don't have to like repeat some stuff and go from there. So, heard and saw you the whole time. Everything is going good on my end. We're good to go. I can see and hear you loud and clear. Awesome. Now I just need to remember where I was.
You don't want to give your whole life story talking about when you were 25.
Got it. Oh, yeah. And in the vein of what we were talking about, again, keeping with the example and keeping it congruent so you can really understand how the whole process would flow. Say you were running that weight loss program and you wanted to tell people, you told people they could lose that 10 pounds, right? To keep the attention, like Patrick just said, thank you, brother, I appreciate that, is telling that relevant story. And how are we going to do that? Well, you would say something along the lines of your epiphany of how you lost those 10 pounds without having to do exactly that, right? We're not going to tell them about our amazing weight loss journey at the gym where we cut weight by cutting our diet, right? Like that's a complete opposite of what we just said. What we want to do is stay relevant and congruent and actually share an example through story of how that has worked for us. Is that making sense, everybody? If that's making sense, drop a 2 before I go any further, because this is a very crucial piece. This is where a lot of people get hung up, and I find myself having to go back and work with and recorrect and really help people figure this piece out, is because it needs to be relevant. It needs to truly be what we call congruent with the whole thing. Has to be congruent from headline to call to action. All right, we're getting people saying 2. Perfect. So again, I'm going to tell that story of how I went on this weight loss journey and lost 10 pounds without having to change my diet or starve myself. I'm going to tell them how I achieved that. And what that is called and what that has been known to be is the hero's journey. Okay? If you look at novels, literature, if you look at videos, TV, entertainment, video games even, if you look at it from the beginning of time up till now, there is a theme, a story that is constantly repeated, constantly revamped, slightly tweaked, reproduced, and still does amazing every time they put it out to market. Why is that? Because we as humans, 1, love to learn through story, and 2, we love stories that we can resonate with, that the everyday person can feel, right? And so there's 2 main hero stories, 2 main hero journeys that rock us to our core the most, that allow us to really feel like we're a piece of it. And when we can feel like we're a piece of it, when we're emotionally connected, we stay, we take action, we follow through. And so the very first one, actually, before I dive into those, I want to just try to turn over to Liam for a second, because I know Liam might not have the same exact training I have in this, but through our conversation about bringing this to you guys today, I learned that Liam has his own version of this training that he learned. So I want him to kind of just share a little bit of his insights on the hero's journey as well. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so when I was in college, I ended up taking mythology class. And literally everything about mythology is the hero's journey. Without knowing the hero's journey, we could not pass the class. So pretty much the hero has to fall at some point. But what makes it the hero's journey is how he's able to overcome and then eventually prevail. So you have to have loss or pain to be able to overcome something and for it to be a true hero's journey.
100%. Absolutely. And that, just to add on what you just said, so there's two, like I was saying, two main styles of a hero's journey. The one that Liam just explained to you is the one that I've kind of known as, I did not coin this term by any means, but it's one that I kind of refer to as the hero's epiphany. Because here's the thing. There's the other style is the underdog story. And I'm sure you guys have probably seen Rudy or any of the other ones that have like made the Hall of Fame of movies. These two stories are time and time again will always be the ones that get the most engagement. And here's why. The underdog story, we can all relate to at some point in our life. There has always been some point in our life where we felt like the odds were stacked against us. Our back was against the wall. There was no light at the end of the tunnel. Rocky's a great example as well. 100%, John. Probably one of the best ones of all time, Rocky. Well, like literally no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no glimmer of hope, but yet they pull through and they create an absolute better life for themselves. I'm sure there are people on this call right now who are just about to start that underdog story for themselves, who are just about to pull off their own Rocky story, where they literally thought it wasn't possible, that the world was stacked against them, but because they aligned themselves with the next piece, which is highly prevalent in both stories, which is the mentor or the guiding hand or the person who delivers the epiphany or the piece needed to truly set them apart, right? In the hero's journey, the hero starts off victorious, starts off with praise and what we think is everything needed. But then something happens. Every single time, something happens where that's taken away, where he's humbled, where he's shown the reality of his ways, the error of his ways. And it isn't until he meets that mystical figure, that mentor, that guide, whoever it may be, gets that sign, that epiphany, that then gives him that final piece that then allows him to break free and be the person he always thought and he was capable of being in the first place, right? Guys, these are like, you guys are giving amazing examples in the comments, right? Of real live entertainment, big blockbusters that do this. But I want you to realize that you are this. This is you. You are the next Thor, the next Rocky, the next Rudy, or any of these amazing stories that have been told time and time again. You can be that next person. Guys, I literally was the underdog. I had doctors tell me I was never going to be able to be successful, regulate my emotions, be able to function cognitively at a high level. I was told that because I had no college or school or anything to fall back on, that I really had nothing for myself. The world was stacked against me. But I had people that I ran into in my life that believed in me, that saw things in me that I couldn't see in myself. I found those people in my life who were not willing to let the potential they saw in me, the greatness they saw in me, to go to the wayside, that they stepped up and said what was needed, that guided the way, that maybe in most cases even challenged me and got a little in my face about it because I needed it. To then see the mindset, like have that mindset shift that was needed to then see all the opportunity and everything that was already available to me. Like, if you go back and read the very first ad, as a matter of fact, what I'll do for you guys is if you want, if I get enough people ask for it right now, and say, show me right now in the comments, I will actually go and share the very first ad that made me $250,000 online to you guys. And you'll see, that's all it was an underdog story. I used to be this, now I'm this, thanks to this. This is how you do it. It was all it was. So let me know, guys, if you do want to see that, I'll show that to you. But the other story that I just wanted to touch on this one more time really quick before we kind of move on to the next piece that I want to talk to you about. And that is, when you're telling these stories, I don't want you to think because I brought up these blockbuster movies that you have to tell a blockbuster story. I want you to realize that the experiences in your life, the things you've been through, the things that make you who you are, and the stories you want to tell are just as valuable as any story I will tell, Liam will tell, or anybody else on this call, because there is somebody out there who needs to hear it. There is somebody out there who will impact and will make their life better. And it truly, guys, I was scared to post at first too, but it wasn't until I started receiving emails and messages and comments from people thanking me, saying, I appreciated that email today. Thank you. I really needed to hear that. Or, you were reading my mind today. Thank you for posting this. This is a great video. Like, just, it starts to blow your mind when you start to realize, hey, listen, my little insignificant voice is what I used to believe back then is actually being heard, is actually making an impact. And so, Liam, I saw you wanted to unmute there for a second, brother. Did you have something you wanted to add before I jump into step 3 of this?
Yeah. I want everyone to realize that the hero's journey is way more common than you think. You just have to be open to see it. And one of the big ones that hits home for me is when Brandy said that I was her hero. So that's a perfect example.
Yeah. It's funny that you bring that up because I have a really good buddy. And when I first started making really, really big money online, he and I started traveling and training together, training other marketers and companies and stuff. And when you go to these big events, and there'd be hundreds and hundreds of people there, and he was much more well known than I was at that time. I was just starting to come up. And so he would literally like get ambushed in the hallways and like taken back. And like, just like you, when she said, you're my hero, and you were like, I really don't know how to take that just yet. He would sit there and be like, what's going on? Why is everybody looking at me? I'm like, dude, you're a freaking celebrity. Like, everybody wants to talk to you. Not that that's ever gonna, if that's something you don't want, then don't go to events and be famous, but that's fine. But yeah, just brought that up in my mind. And so, Patrick, was it the aftermath, and what's next for you? No, brother, this ad was back in 2017 that I wrote it. So I'll tag you guys in it. Not a problem. I'll show you guys what it was. Very, very simple. You want to know the truth though? This is another little just side tangent, but truth behind it all. The very first ad I ever wrote that ever made me $1, like ever made me $1 online, was 3 words. I don't think you can get away with that anymore on Facebook, but it literally was 3 words. It said, why not 2018? And it had a question mark and an exclamation point. That's all it said.
I swear, I thought you were going to say, why not you?
What's that?
I thought you were going to say, why not you?
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to feel like, why not 2018? Why not make 2018 the year you change your entire life? And it was like super engaging, and it made me a couple $1,000s, but it was nowhere near the story. And when you truly share your life with people, you attract the right people, right? And that's the next thing I really want to talk to you guys about before we do go into lesson. I feel like I might just beat a dead horse when it comes to this, but that's how important it really is. When you share who you are, for example, I'm a veteran, I'm a father, I'm an animal enthusiast, and I love the outdoors. I share about those things in basically everything I do. Why? Because I want to talk to, interact with, and help people just like myself. And so when I share about going camping with my family, or going to the Grand Canyon on a Tuesday just because we can, or going up to Sedona for the week just because we can, like just sharing these things, right? What I'm doing is I'm letting people know who I am. I'm letting people know what I'm about and what I love so I can attract more people like myself. When we don't share these things and we're just being super generic, no one can connect with us. No one wants to connect with us. There's an old saying, and it's true to this day, no one cares about what you can do for them until they know how much you actually care about them, right? And the best way that I know to truly connect with somebody quickly over the internet without ever actually seeing their face or actually getting to really like sit in a room and know them is to share who I am so they share who they are, and then we connect and we can share on that. We do it every single day inside of OVF. We do it every single day inside of business. It's how we flourish. Sometimes I get the one-off veteran who'll be like, well, how dare you target your fellow veterans? Be like, well, how dare you not? Who do you want to help? Who are you trying to make an impact on? Like, I don't care about anybody else. I'm not going to waste my time. Go ahead.
It's kind of like when you're in a foreign country, completely foreign place, and you run into another American tourist. Doesn't matter what state they're from, they're American. You're like, oh, yes, and you become best friends just because you're similar. That's all this is also.
Yep. That's a perfect example. Traveling abroad, one of you might be from the inner city of Manhattan, and the other one could be from the Blue Mountains of Tennessee. You could be polar opposites, and you meet on foreign land where things are not familiar, and because you guys are both something in common, you will come together and unite against the unfamiliar. It is proven. So I hope you guys are getting this. And I know I'm spending a lot of time on story and diving deep and making sure you understand these things, because it really is what sets you apart, getting attention. It's the key piece from falling away to the wayside and letting nobody know who you are and ever being seen or heard, and truly grabbing attention, holding attention, and starting to build and foster a community or a tribe, just like we're doing here. So let's move on to the next piece, which is a lesson, right? It's great. We got their attention. We told them the story. Through the story, they got to experience our emotion, experience what we went through. Hopefully, they can relate to that. We've done our job, and now they are also feeling our pain and experiencing the same pleasures we want. However, that's not enough. That's not enough. We need to define for them what we learned. We need to share with them what we pulled away from it, the value we received. Okay? A lot of times, what's nice to do here is to contradict a popular belief. Okay? I did it in the attention grabber. I'll do it again here as an example. So, staying in the realm, we brought him in and we said, hey, want to lose 10 pounds without ever having to change your diet or starve yourself? We shared our story of how we worked out every day, got to eat what we wanted, never had to starve ourselves, added in this one supplement, and we're able to shed 10 pounds. Now, what we need to do now is we told them the mechanism that allowed us, obviously, that supplement. Now, that's probably going to be what you're selling. That's how that works. So you'll share that with them. Now, what you need to do, though, is actually break down for them what you learned. What did you learn? Well, you learned that losing weight doesn't have to be hard. You learned that by adding in the proper, and again, I would take some time to get this verbiage exactly correct because it wouldn't matter. But I would say something along, proper nutritional formula that would best supply my body with what it needs. I would use some of the verbiage that you use for that product in there. But basically letting them know, listen, this is the story and this is what happened, but this is what I pulled away from it. And what I pulled away from it was that regardless of what anybody else says, regardless of the fads that are being pushed down people's throats, you can truly live the life you want, eat what you want. And if you regulate your body and give it exactly what it needs to keep your metabolism up and blah, 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 then you can have your cake and eat it too. And if that's you, this goes into the next part, which is your call to action. Be like, well, if that's you, then reach out to me and I'll give you more information. Or comment info below and I will reach out to you with more information. Or message me now and I will give you the exact details. Or I'll share with you the one brand that allowed me to achieve this, right? The call to action is just going to be giving you the exact result you're looking for. If you're looking to get somebody into Messenger where you can have a more intimate connection with them and really kind of find out how to best serve them, then your call to action is going to be message me or comment and I'll message you. You know, if your call to action is go to my website and, you know, buy this amazing flash deal that's only going to last for the next 48 hours, where you can get this nutritional spray plus one for free, click this link now, boom, go there now and buy it. You know, the call to action is just going to be the result you're looking for. And again, the result that you are going to be looking for is going to be the same result you're sharing in your story. It's going to be the same lessons you've learned and pulled away. And it's going to be right in the same theme of the pains and pleasures you drew them in with in your headline. Is that formula making sense to you guys? Let me know right now in the chat. Did you gain value from understanding this 4-piece formula?
I don't know if I'm remembering the correct name of the principle, but it's pretty much like Chekhov's gun. Because you used it before, you have to go back to it in the future at the end of the post.
I don't. No.
You know what I'm talking about? Like in movies, because they showed this one weapon that they're going to use to murder someone in the future, just because they showed it, they need to use it in the crime. So it's in cinematic universe. Again, goes to me with my whole movies and mythology and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. That's one, like, so you and I talk about movies a lot. You and I are both movie buffs. And that's one thing that, you know, Easter eggs and stuff like that when we're dissecting movies is they never bring up something that's not going to be relevant later, right? They're not going to tell you
that's exactly it.
Destructible if they're not planning on destroying him later. You know what I'm saying?
That's Chekhov's gun.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, brother. I get what you're saying. So we're tons of value tonight. We got John saying 100% receive value from the 4-part formula tonight. We got Zachary saying, I see the value in this. We got David saying so much value. Nick, value. And Patrick, hell yes. And when it works, wash. And then it works, wash, rinse, repeat. Absolutely. Guys,
don't break the wheel.
Don't reinvent the wheel is probably the best thing ever said to me in business and in life. When I first got started online, and I'm sure there's some of you on this call who this is going to benefit greatly. Saw what was working. I was given all these skills and I paid for a mentor, right? I dropped $10,000 for a complete A to Z digital marketing sales education, along with a year's worth of mentorship. And I went into that training and I'm looking at all the things and I'm like, oh, this is great. I love this. I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And like, I'm putting it all together. And I'm like, oh, this will make it way better. And this will make this all better. And this will make this better. And I'm just going to do it all like this. And I built it all. And my mentor was like, how's that working for you? I was like, it's not. He's like, well, why are you reinventing the wheel? He's like, simple works. Simple duplicates. Simple equals success. Stop trying to make everything so damn complicated. Do what I'm showing you. And of course I did. And of course now I'm online permanently for the last 3 years, doing really well. So I'm glad that framework delivered value for you guys here tonight. I know for me personally, I've been using this exact framework for 3 years straight now. And when I write something, when I share myself, and I use this framework, I tell you, I get people's attention. I get people's actions. I get people to do what I am asking them to do to benefit them. I will also tell you that when I first started doing this, I was not good at it. It takes time to get good at breaking down a story and keeping it concise and keeping it into a thread. So if your first couple of posts, your first couple of emails don't get the reach and engagement you're looking for, do it again and do it again. If you need help, if you need additional support, message Liam or I. We have resources and other things available that can go very deep and teach you the ins and outs of these things. So we're always have something that's available for you to take it to the next level, to really make sure that you're best set up for success and most effectively running and operating an online business. Now, before I dive into a couple of things that I think are really going to help you, and I want to close out with a little bit of another little hack, if you will, that I think is really going to help you guys. I just want to go and read through some of these comments real quick. I'm a big history buff, and history is full of inspirational underdogs. Absolutely, Nick. History was my greatest subject in school. I actually took college history in high school, way back before I ever damaged my brain and all that. So, you know, that was business school for me. Yeah. See, we all have an area where we fall proficient, right? We're drawn to it. It's something that we naturally, you don't have to motivate us. You don't have to incentivize us. You don't have to inspire us. We're going to go do it because we love it. And guys, here's another little hint. That's not even the hint I was going to give you. These are all amazing things that you could be talking about. If history is something that you love, Nick, there are plenty of other people out there that love history. There are plenty of other historical underdog figures that you could use as references and examples in your posts to cement and lock in the story and the result you're looking to get. Business is the same thing. You know, CEOs and even, I mean, in today's day and age with social media, you've got people like Logan Paul, who is like ridiculously successful, but has like no real business background, right? So what if instead you would talk to somebody that has a business background. You would talk to somebody that is interested in business, right? We talk to everybody, we get nobody. We don't want those people. But if we talk to somebody who has a business background, who understands, you know, the ins and outs of maybe what I probably don't even know, because I never went to business school. Everything I know comes from real world, in the trench experience, falling flat on my face, getting up, correcting, and doing it again, or paying for a mentor so I don't have to do that, so I don't have to fall on my face, so I can listen to their guidance and take those actions. But yeah, like these are all great stuff, guys. The idea fairy fucks everything up. I guess, yeah, absolutely. Kiss, keep it simple, stupid, or keep it simple. There's another one that doesn't say stupid. I forget what it is.
Keep it super simple.
Yeah, there it is. I knew there was another one that didn't call someone stupid, but I just prefer it. I prefer the one Stephanie wrote. Not damaged, just different. Before I even say, who knows what that is? Nick, obviously you know what that is. Who can tell me what that is? I know Nick knows.
I don't even know what that is.
You wouldn't, yeah. Anybody tell me what not damaged, just different, what he's referring to? Has to do with the framework I taught you guys tonight. Anyway, since we're not getting any comments, and it might just be a slow connection like we have sometimes, but there's an email series that when you join OVF for the first 7 days that you are a member of OVF, I drop tons of value on you. Exactly like Patrick said. That's the email campaign you receive from OVF when you get started. One of the titles of one of the emails where I do exactly this, I share a story with you. It's not my story, but I share a story with you. I share the lesson I learned from listening to that story, and then I give you something to do. I give you something to do, which is normally, let's jump on a game plan call and actually get you into action. Because at the end of the day, sitting here listening to Liam and I is great, but unless you actually take action on your life and business, you're not going to go anywhere. And even if it turns out Liam and I can't help you, I know for a fact I can direct you in a direction. I can point you in a direction of someone or something that can. I've been involved in this industry for 3 years now. I have networked myself in like a tick. I know lots of people doing lots of different things, and there isn't a person on here who could throw something at me who I could not help you with or direct you to somebody who could. And so at the end of the day, the purpose of the game plan is truly to have you walk off that call with an actionable game plan for you to move forward, even if that's not with us, because we want you to succeed. So, yes, that, and Patrick knows because Patrick's working directly with me, but it's an email campaign. It's part of the follow-up that allows us to stay relevant, to give you more value, to let you know what we're about and what we can do for you. Because those of you who work with me understand, and some of you who have been in the marketing world might understand this too. As a matter of fact, let me ask, is there anybody on here, maybe with the exception of Liam, who knows how many exposures, how many times someone has to see your marketing, actually see what you're doing before they ever take action? Well, that's funny, Nick. It's funny that you didn't even know what I was talking about. You were just referring to my injury. That's kind of funny because that is literally the subject line of one of the emails that goes out. We're not damaged. We're just different. All right. We got Stephanie. She's saying 7:20. We got, oh, I thought I clicked on it. John saying 3. Zachary saying 3. Patrick's saying 7. And Nick is saying anywhere from 9 to 13. A lot of you guys were very, very close. So there's many different ways of looking at it, but on average, it is 14 exposures. On average. They say 7 to 17. I'll go 14. Let's go somewhere in the middle. 14 exposures, guys. Whether it's so one of the best ways to break it down is in 1/3, right? 33.3%, 1/3 of the people that see your ad right away are going to have the means and the desire to take action right there and then. You're going to have the other 1/3 who are going to need some time. They're going to need to know you a little bit better. Maybe they're going to need to get some funds together. Maybe they're going to need to just kind of watch what other people are doing and see if they're getting any success. Like, trust me, there's people that do that, right? They sit there and they just kind of wait. And then they join because then they believe. That's fine. That's why we do what we do. That's why we follow up. And then you have your outliers, your other 1/3 who literally can buy from you 2 years later. Guys, I've had people reach out to me 2 years later and be like, I've been following you for 2 years. I love what you're doing. I'm ready to take action. Tell me how to get started. Literally, I've had that happen. So you got to understand that in the world of marketing, in which every business that we ever build needs to be marketed, it's a game of large numbers, and 1/3 are only going to buy right away, and then the other 1/3 are going to be able to. The second third are going to buy after a little bit of time, and that second third is really why we follow up. Is really why we consistently provide value over a period of time. And it might make sense since it takes 14 exposures to make sure that you are exposing them 14 times, right? Or 17 times. So you can confirm and really lock in that sale. And so that was a complete side tangent, but it was just Nick had mentioned literally the exact subject line. So I wanted to jump out and just kind of share that with a little bit of value with you guys. Normally, that's not something we cover here. That's something I deep dive in the boot camp. There's a whoo, there's a lot that goes into email marketing when you really, really want to maximize the automation of it. What's up, brother?
I've lost track. I'm just curious if you were able to keep track. How many times have we had people that started up with us say that they wish
Number
they
one thing that people
started
say.
sooner?
Number one thing, man. It's like, I don't know how to quantify that, right? Because it really is the number one thing people say. For those people who really are the three qualifying things that we need, right? Desire, willingness, coachability. Desire, coachability, and willingness to actually take action. For people that actually have those three things, when they have proper guidance, when they have the value that's promised actually delivered to them, that is literally the first thing they say. Man, I should have got it started sooner. It's like, well, I get why you didn't. You didn't quite believe yet, and that's fine. That's why I take the time to follow up. That's why I take the time to connect. That's why I take the time to interview. That's why we do all the things we do. We want to make sure you're absolutely a good fit and that no one's time is getting wasted. No one's money is getting wasted, because here's the thing. At the end of the day, guys, it costs money to operate a business, right? Whether it's ad spend, whether it's getting your LLC, getting a domain, ordering products, like whatever your business model might be, there's costs that go into that. And if you're not going to be willing to do what it takes to get yourself into profit quickly, then you're going to be paying those out of pocket. And that, I don't know anything that would irritate somebody quicker than starting a business and then turning around and making that business into a hobby that actually costs them money. Right? So, yeah, absolutely. And then before I get off on too much of a tangent, we got 3 minutes left. There was one last thing I wanted to share with you guys here tonight before I turn it over to Q&A, and then always, close it out. I've talked about this before, in my 5 daily success habits, guys. And I want to reiterate it here today for those of you who are brand new and haven't had a chance to go through that training yet. The number one way that I never run out of content to talk about, to email about, to speak about, trainings to do, the one way I never run out of things to say to my audience, to you guys, to the world, to my customers, to my clients, is that I never stop putting stuff in. Guys, I hated reading nonfiction books growing up. I would dive into a fantasy book like that. Not a problem. I'd much rather watch it on TV when I was younger, but I have no problem reading. But when I started reading to benefit me, not just to escape or to entertainment, which is great. I'm not saying don't do that. But when I really started to read to self-educate, to better my life, my skills, my business, when I started doing that, when I started marrying that and accompanying that with positive audios every day, listening to uplifting interviews, guys, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Ed Milet, like you listen to these guys and you can't help but walk away with a different look at a different perception of the world, right? So I surround myself with these things. I constantly dive in. And guys, I'm not saying that it has to be 24/7. You can never, watch what you want again. I love good TV. Again, Liam and I talk about movies and TV all the time. But I also know that if I'm not taking the time to put good things in daily, then I'm not going to have the good things to share with you, to teach you, to drop value on you, or to bring it into my own life. So, guys, one thing that'll benefit you greatly is to start to take on self-education when it comes to reading and what you're putting into your mind. Scrolling through Facebook and reading articles does not count. You really need to get out there and educate yourself, uplift yourself. Even if it's just a mindset book, like A Happy Pocket Full of Money or Think and Grow Rich, which is one of our gifts. Think and Grow Rich is one of the gifts. Happy Pocket Full of Money, you can get the free audio on YouTube. Like, those books changed my life. I would highly recommend you turn those on. And absolutely, Patrick's readers are leaders. And there isn't a successful person that I know today that does not take the time to self-educate themselves in some form, whether it's paying for mentorship, paying for an education, paying for a subscription, paying for books, paying for an audio, whatever it is. Like even an Audible subscription counts as benefiting yourself and educating yourself, as long as you're not just listening to garbage or listening to escape and fantasy and entertainment, but actual knowledge. And John, I couldn't agree with you more. If you saw my post about me and Joe Rogan's bromance, I've listened to that dude for a long time, and honestly, love everything he's about. It's always about expanding your mind, different perceptions, like really just getting to the info and the value and the education of it all. And then of course he has his buddies on sometimes, and it's a good laugh. But I really do love his, and I also really love Ed Milet's because they have a lot of the same people on, and Tom Bilyeu, which is impact theory. All three of those guys have a lot of the same people on, where Joe Rogan's can go 3-4 hours sometimes. Tom Bilyeu and Ed Milet, both of those guys, they keep it to an hour. So, if I'm driving in the car and I have an hour drive, I know I can crush that whole thing, where sometimes when it comes to Joe Rogan, I got to digest it in pieces because I got 3 kids, businesses, and a whole life revolving in 3 hours isn't not something I can dedicate on a daily basis. So just some ideas, guys. Again, Tom Bilyeu, which is impact theory. You have Ed Milet, which is, the hell's the actual name of his podcast? I can't think of it on my head right now. And then Joe Rogan, which is Joe Rogan Experience. But if you type in Ed Milet, guys, it'll come right up. And he's like, those are some of my favorites, just to be honest. What we got going on here? Cue, craving, response, reward. Yeah, Atomic Habits. That's what that's from. Another book I love and that Liam's also read. That's a huge benefit.
Yeah, I've gone through that at least 4 times. Always going to go back to that. And every single time I read it, I pick up something new and different. Yeah. Something that I may have never realized was in there to begin with the first time, because my mind was in a different place.
What's kind of funny that you bring that up is that I used to think that it was a detriment. I used to think that it was kind of honestly, bullshit, that I had to read books more than once to comprehend them, right? So, being completely transparent with everybody on here, like it takes me a little while to comprehend things right away, like to get them locked in the way I do. It's a lot of repetition for me. And that's just, TBI and things like that. So I know I have to go a little bit extra. Damn, now I'm going to forget what I was just saying. How about that? What was I saying, Liam?
You have to go through the books a couple different times. You used to get down on yourself.
Thank you. And so in order to lock these things in, normally I'll have to either re-listen to a chapter if it's audible, or I'll have to reread a chapter. And that's fine by me because, again, just like Liam was saying, like I pick up new things every time I read it. I'll go back through the same book a second time and I will learn something I did not learn the first time. And it's really beneficial for me. Again, just full transparency, guys, like this, it might make me seem, in this crowd, I don't think it would make me seem weak, but there's certain scenarios where it would. But when I first got started online and I had this $10,000 curriculum in front of me and I had to go through it and learn, I went through each of those modules a dozen times a piece. Literally, I had to. And then it got to the point where I would literally have the training open on one window and the screen I was operating in the other, so I could do it in real time and I wouldn't forget what I had to do. And I just kept doing that and kept doing that and kept doing that and kept doing that. And eventually it got to the point where I could do it in my sleep. And then companies started paying me to go travel and help other people do it. And then before I knew it, like now I can build a funnel like that. Like it's not a problem for me. But back then I had to go through these things over and over and over and over again. And so it's probably one of the reasons why people, when they try to give me excuses, I'm like, yeah, okay, you just didn't try hard enough. But that's just me because I had to push through some hell to get there. But let's see what we got. I'm reading it and it's treating it as a reference. Yeah, it's a great book. Atomic Habits, which is James Clear, for those of you guys who are interested in checking that out. So I know I went a little bit over, guys, and I want to respect your time. But I do also want to make sure that I did not leave you with some question burning in your mind without when you needed to say something and you didn't get the opportunity. So I want to open the floor here right now. I'll give it 1 minute to start seeing some come in. If I don't, we'll close out the meeting for tonight, close out the live stream training. But let me know, guys, do you have any questions for Liam and I? Is there anything that's, burning in your mind right now that you want to share? What's going on for you? If I don't see anything here in just a moment, I will turn it over to Liam to say goodbye, and then I will close us out for the night.
I don't know if you noticed, but I'm like barely conscious right now.
Yeah, I am. I'm happy you made it, and I'm happy that I made it all the way through.
Yeah,
because you and I both are not in good shape this morning. So John's asking, how would I use the structure for a woodworking business? So here's what I would do. First of all, we need to get very clear on who you want to service with this woodworking business, right? I get that you could probably service a wide variety of people. However, to get momentum going, to get started, to really start getting the ball rolling, I would encourage you and recommend that you get really clear on one core type of audience that you want to sell this to. Because once you figure that out, then this framework becomes so much easier to fill in, right? Because then you know exactly what you need to speak to. So for example, I've got a good buddy of mine back in New York. He's a first responder. He has pine wood woodworking, and he specializes in making veteran and service members, whether it's first responders or anything like that, memorial plaques, right? Flags, plaques, things like that. Now, because he understands his market, because he understands who he's talking to, he can then structure it and say, I remember growing up in a house with a veteran as a father, and I always wondered why he never had anything hanging up in the house that would really commemorate what he was doing for him. And so, and this is just me flying off the top of the head, guys. Honestly, like, you could sit down and if I sat down with you, I could make this way more detailed. But, you could say something along the lines of, if you're like me growing up in your house, your father was everything to you. And if you're also like me and your father served this country, you want to do something for him to really show that respect and honor that service. And what a better way than to, find a perfect memorial woodwork piece that you could then share with them. And what you can do, right? And again, this is all fly off the top of the head. But what you would do is draw them in based on who they are. So they're veterans. They have a longing to memorialize, honor someone else. So we're going to speak to that. And then in the story, you're actually going to share, hey, one of the things that I love most about woodworking is the fact that I get to honor these veterans, and I get to do that through blah, blah, blah. And you'll share that story, and then you'll share the lesson of why that's important to you. And then the call to action could be, reach out to me and let me know who you want to honor so we can decide a custom piece that will be worthy of them. Now, again, that's just on the fly real quick. I didn't do any research into woodworking or your customer avatar or any of the things that I really tell you that the clarity is where it makes the difference. So if I were to take the time to do that clarity, then I would be able to speak more specifically. But even on the fly, the formula and the framework still stays the same. You notice how I wasn't able to get as detailed, but I can still keep it in the same sequence. Now, that clarity that you're going to have because you are a woodworker and you understand your avatar, when you put that into that framework, it's going to allow you to much more effectively find your people and get them to take action. If that's still a little confusing to you, reach out, message Liam or I. There's other things we can do to help you out. It's just unfortunately we are already over time tonight, so I don't have time to really dive deep and ask you the questions that would be needed to get the details. So Zachary, not a question. Just want to say that this training was great. Thank you guys for doing this for us. Absolutely, brother. And that just means the world to us. That's exactly why we do it, to provide you value and give you some insight into really what's possible and how it's done. And so that means the world to me, and I'm sure Liam as well. So Zach, thank you for saying that. And Nick said, find what your niche is, the leads that leads to riches. Hank Hill. I love it, because the riches are in the niches. Again, it's all about knowing who you want to talk to. When you talk to everyone, you market to everyone, you market to no one. Guys, I'm going to keep saying that until I'm blue in the face. I guarantee it. Because as new people join this group, they need to know. Like, that's the true key to marketing, is knowing, is the clarity. I can teach you everything else, but I can't give you that clarity, because you need to know it for yourself. So, very important piece. And you're very welcome, John. Absolutely, brother. That is what we're here to do. So, Liam, say goodnight to our amazing community, and then I'll close us out.
All right. I just want to thank everyone for taking time out of their day to spend it with us. We're honored, and we're always grateful to help and support you guys with whatever you need. So feel free to reach out, Chris or I. Thank you all for coming.
Normally, Liam issues the challenge, but I'm going to take that role today. And what I'm going to do, guys, is first of all, as always, thank you for your time, for your trust, and for your loyalty here in OVF. Just to kind of add on to what Liam was saying, it means the world to us to have this community of veterans, to be able to support you guys, to help you, to show you what's possible, and then to even support you in achieving it. That means the world to us. That's why OVF exists. And on that vein, guys, if you have not spoken to Liam and I yet, and you have a burning desire for more in your life, what are you waiting for? It's complimentary to get on a game plan call. I have a calendar I can send over to you, get you booked in, and over a 30-minute period of time, we'll discover what it is that you want to do and the best steps for you to get there. Again, guys, even if that doesn't mean working directly with Liam and I can guarantee you that I can set you on the right path so that you can achieve it. And so don't waste any time. Let's start getting the results in your life you're looking for. Because remember one thing, nothing in your life is going to change unless you start making different decisions. The thinking and the way that you've been living have gotten you this far. And until we switch that, until we come together and change a little bit of what's going on, nothing in your life is going to change. Liam and I understand that. Liam and I went through that. There are many people on this call who are going through it right now, and let us help you guide through that. So that being said, guys, message us. Let's get you on a game plan call. Let's see how we can best serve you and help you achieving what you're looking for in the future. Now for the challenge here tonight. We're going to close this off on a challenge. You guys learned an amazing skill set here tonight. One that honestly will pay the bills well into the future when applied correctly. It's done it for me time and time again, year after year, to the tune of, I don't want to get in trouble for telling you, but let's just say multiple six figures a year. So my challenge to you is take what we've learned. If you need to go back and watch the business breakthrough training, do it. Get that clarity you need. But what I want everyone on this call to do, and even if watching on the replay, write a post. Write your first post with this framework and put it out to the world. Get it done. Pull the trigger. Show yourself it really isn't scary. I had a veteran buddy of mine, former retired Air Force, and he literally, it took him a week to hit approve on an ad. He was so scared, just so scared. Time and time again, I'm like, dude, just hit it. Just put it out there. What if people don't like it? And what if they judge me? And what if they say this? And what if they say that? And what if blah, 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 and all these what ifs. He was just shooting all over himself and wasn't getting anywhere. And finally, after a week, he had the confidence. He pushes the button and he calls me up and he goes, Chris, the world didn't explode. I was like, no, it didn't. What does that even mean? He's like, I published my ad. I'm like, oh my God. And you're still alive? Like, that's crazy. But don't let that happen to you guys. Get out there, use, implement, take action on the value and skills we are teaching you, the frameworks and trainings that we are giving to you every week. see the value for yourselves, see the engagement, see the reactions for yourself, your future self will thank you for it. With that being said, guys, have an amazing night. Have an amazing rest of your week. If you're watching this on replay, as always, hashtag replay it and engage as if you were here live, because we will come back and answer your questions. So that's all we got for you here tonight, guys. Have an amazing rest of your week. Peace.